But why is my question? Like, why am I trending? Like half the time I don't even know why. What is the reason? Like sometimes I find this out from, because I actually never look at what, I don't actually ever look at Twitter trends and what's trending on Twitter, because it's just like most of the stuff so nonsense. But I sometimes get messages from friends being like, hey, are you okay? And I'm like, well, what happened? And then they send me a screenshot of a Twitter trend. So the last time when it was Swara Bhasker, I was like, yeah, but why? Like, I was like, ye kya hua? Suddenly, randomly.
Let's start. So reviews coming in positive. So is Radha Nautiyal anything like Swara Bhasker? I mean, there is any similarity? Did you resonate with her? Because she is like, don't mess with me. She's badass. So did you see a lot of yourself in her?
I think that she's, Radha Nautiyal is basically quite close to Swara Bhasker's Twitter personality. How much that Twitter personality is actually close to me, I think is debatable. But I think that definitely there are some similarities in terms of, you know, there is a certain, like a certain outspoken quality to Radha as well. There's a certain I give a damn attitude about consequences. There's like no fear of consequences. There's a very strong feeling that I will, you know, stand up for what I think is right, and I will make things happen. So there's like that proactive nature. I think that there's a lot of that, of course, which is quite similar. Of course, I'm a disaster with a gun, as I discovered while we were shooting. So I know now why I can't be a cop, and why I will never be a cop. And I think that also I don't necessarily agree with, for example, Radha's idea of instant justice. You know, there's that dialogue in the trailer, especially, that's become very popular, that, you know, I want to, like, कि मैं सारे sex traffickers को चौपाटी पे नंगा खड़ा करके machine gun से उड़ा देना चाहती हूँ. And that's not something I would ever espouse as an accepted form of, you know, how we should administer justice ever. So there are some differences also, but like I always feel like, you know, you don't need to find a similarity with the character as an actor. You just need to crack the character's emotional compulsions. That's all you need to understand. And then you will be able to find a key to kind of get into that. And that's kind of how I managed with Radha as well.
And what was it like to run with a gun and, you know, doing the whole cop thing? What was that like?
Listen, it was I mean, my respect for all those action heroes has just like gone through the roof, because it's really hard. And the gun, for the first time, and I posted on Instagram also about my gun experience, because the first time I shot the gun, like literally I didn't realize that a blank cartridge has a real noise. So that tinnitus, like that teen sound, like I started having that in my ear. And after that, I was terrified of the gun and chase. So Danish, the director, came up with a name for me called Fatto Apa. So we were like, oh, Fatto Apa, aa gayi action karne. So that was my action alter ego. And the first time, we had a lot of chase sequences in the show. And the first time when I was running, Danish, he looked at the monitor and he was like, you run like Phoebe from Friends. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, what is all this? Like, how are you running? So then I actually did classes to run for camera. So I trained with an athlete. And, you know, like he was like, okay, how much of your hand do you move? How much of your leg do you lift? Do you land on your toe, on your heel? Like I practiced all that. So you can actually see in the first episode, there's a shot of me running out of the office, and I'm really running, like, you know, in like really steep way. And then luckily all the other running scenes were, the proper chase sequences were like almost 2 months later. So I spent that time training. So my running, there is an arc to my running also. Like there's an arc of the character, there's an arc of the running. Wow. The running gets slowly better. So it was quite something.
And also it's uncharted territory for you, because when I got the teasers and when I watched the first episode, I was like, wait a minute, Swara has actually never played a cop. Though she does the cop and policewoman giri on Twitter, as you said. I said, on Reel, she's never played a cop before.
Yeah, I've never played a cop, and it was the first time doing like action and the first time playing a cop, and I was very worried. So my first response to seeing the reviews is actually a sense of deep relief more than anything else. I'm like, thank God. I was just so scared about like how people are going to respond to this.
True. But also it deals with a subject that is of prime importance. Do you think narratives like this will help people become aware? Because I'm sure you took this up also because you have been very vocal about things you stand by, and trafficking is something that you've spoken about also. So that would have been an instant yes, and then playing the cop. But do you think narratives like this would help, Swara? Educate the people?
I hope so. I hope so. I always feel that, the big thing that the visual medium can do, and content can do, is that it has the power to transform and sensitize people to issues that we did not know about. And we saw this with, for example, a film like Tare Zameen Par, where suddenly an entire middle class was talking about dyslexia and had suddenly become aware of, for example, dyslexia. We saw how skillfully Anubhav Sinha managed to do that in Article 15, when he talks about caste, which is really bringing an issue that is so debated, but also so invisible from the lives of the privileged, but bringing it front and center into conversation. So I think that is definitely something that can happen. And I did think of this when I was shooting, when it was offered to me. And I think that these are subjects that you haven't seen enough of, and you can never see too much of, because I think that that it's such a damning reality of our world, that the more we talk about it, the more we make shows and content about it, the better. We must talk about it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely agree with you. And as you said that Radha is like your Twitter personality, how does it feel to be trending non-stop without a break?
But why is my question? Like, why am I trending? Like, half the time I don't even know why. What is the reason? Like, sometimes I find this out because I actually never look at I don't actually ever look at Twitter trends and what's trending on Twitter, because it's just like most of the stuff so nonsense. But I sometimes get messages from friends being like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I'm like, well, "What happened?" And then they send me a screenshot of a Twitter trend. So the last time when it was arrest Swara Bhasker, I was like, "Yeah, but why?" Like, I was like, "ये क्या हुआ?" Suddenly, randomly. So मेरे को कभी-कभी लगता है कि some group of people just are like jobless. Like one day when they have nothing to do, they're like, Swara को बहुत दिन से गाली नहीं दिया. So they're like, okay, come. But I'm fine. I mean, I understand there's a pandemic going on, and if somebody's kitchen is running because of me, I can only say that I expect them to thank me at some point in their lives.
But you have the patience to respond also. Do you read all the comments?
No, I don't read all the comments.
You respond.
No, so I actually don't read any of the comments that are not verified. But it depends on my mood. So sometimes somebody else has tagged you in something, and you just like end up seeing a comment inadvertently. And then sometimes it depends on my mood. Like if I'm irritated about something else, sometimes I just take it out on this. Like I respond. Sometimes if I'm bored, I respond. Sometimes if I can't get sleep, I respond. But I think that it's all up to how you're feeling. And I always tell people when they ask me like, how should we deal with this? And I'm like, just do what you feel like. Like if you feel like ignoring, ignore it. But if you feel like responding, go ahead and respond. Because I feel like, the reason also why I respond on a more serious note, it's not just because of those people. It's because of everyone else who's going to look at this conversation should know that women will not take abuse lying down. And that people will not take lies and misinformation lying down. Like I really feel that it's become a bit of a battlefield now. And now I feel like, all right, so if it's a battlefield and you're part of the battle, then you stand up for your side, You stand up for the values you're defending. You stand up for the voices of the people that you are defending. And it's sad, actually, that this is how we describe public discourse now. I mean, actually, this is a sad thing. But ab kya kare? Yahi hai reality.
You said something so interesting, women being abused. And then there is a whole campaign launched by your fraternity, like Shayani, and everybody's spoken up. But it's so sad. There are few women who are bringing women down.
Yeah.
And that's extremely sad. I think somewhere women do not, they say now, be proud of your tribe, help them grow. I think some of them just don't want to do that. And then they call it being feminist.
I think that there's a lot of, I think that we have to understand one thing, which is that women are, when we talk about gender equality, I've always said this, women are as good as men, we're also as bad as men. Okay, we're equal in every way. So we're equal in our achievements, we're equal in our good qualities, we're also equal in our bad qualities. So just like you can have situations where men are fighting men, for example, and then there's all kinds of examples of that from the film industry, even, that has become gossip and so on, but also from politics, also from so many other industries. I think that of course it's possible that women will not agree with each other on things. It's possible that they will sort of bring that disagreement into public. And I think that how you bring that disagreement up is really what speaks of the people you are and the kind of the person you are, what your beliefs actually are. Like I have always felt very, I always feel very not comfortable with attacking anybody personally, but certainly women personally, because it just feels like why do we have to do that? Already we are getting it all the time anyway from the trolls and the haters and the men and the thoughtless, the idiot men. But now why should we contribute to doing that to another colleague or another friend or so on? So that's a personal opinion. But equally, I mean, I will say that I have now come to realize that if people are lying about me, and if people are spreading misinformation about me, and if people are, I mean, I think that the first step of empowerment is to learn to stand up for yourself. It's as simple as that. And this is a journey that I have made on my own, with really no help from anyone, except for, of course, with gratitude to the people who hired me. But it's really a path I've charted completely on my own, with no assistance, really very little advice, and a lot of it just trial and error. And I think that I earned the right to kind of defend myself and stand up for myself.
As you rightly said,
did all of us.
As you said, B stands for best grade.
Yeah, B. I'm completely okay with that. I'm like, yeah, B is like best. I'm totally okay with that. And I actually, honestly, Puja, I don't really care. Like, I think it's okay for people to have a personal opinion, and it's okay for them. Like, no, everyone doesn't have to like me. The whole point of a democracy is that you allow people to have their views, but don't shout them down, don't abuse them, and don't silence them. But also, I feel when you say something in public, expect that you will get a response in public. Also, always expect that. When you bring a fight to the public, or when you bring a disagreement to the public, expect that that's then going to turn into a shit show where everyone is going to participate. So you can't be in a situation where aap public mein aake ek tarfa bhashan chalte rahega. That's not going to happen.
I agree.
I mean,
and also it's really sad that how the industry, because industry is meant to entertain, you've been giving us content, it's not standing up together. It's just the division and agendas. That's what, for somebody who's on the outside, like, when your industry is under attack, stand by, help it. I mean, that's what, for me, on the outside, I just feel it's really sad that no one's standing up for each other. It's extremely sad.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think so.
So when you, from JNU as a student, when you everything and became an actor, did you realize it's going to unfold like this? Or did you go with this perception ki, I'm picturing karungi, sab theek thaak hoga? Is there some reality? They said reality bites. Something that came as a surprise to you?
I mean, I think that no one could have, there's so many things you can't predict. Like, nobody would have predicted that one day interviews would be conducted on Zoom when we're both in the same city, but we are sitting on this kind of a technology and on an app and chatting. So I think that life and the world just has many surprises for us. What I actually was not prepared for was weirdly, and this has actually nothing to do with the scandals and the controversies and so on. What I didn't realize was that how much this is actually a medium of the director and not of the actor. I went with all this actor and this love for the camera and this relationship between the camera and the actor's body, and the camera comes so close and it's so intimate and this, that. And then I realized, wow, once I started shooting, I was like, as actors, you don't even have control on which of your takes is going to make it to the edit. So that's how little control we have on our performance. So that's actually something that I didn't know at all. And that's something I developed. I realized that this is actually not an actor's medium. And of course, it's a very glamorous medium. It's a medium where the actors get the most credit. It's where we get the most fame. But it's actually a medium that is not ours at all. It belongs to the director. And that is, big one for me to realize.
And as you spoke about glamour, I mean, do you, we've had that culture. They always said, journalists, DU ka ek culture hota hai, kurta, jeans and the jhola. And here you're in an industry where you have to be perfectly turned out all the time. Could you relate? Could you make that transition easily? Or sometimes was it like, can't I just go the way I am?
No, but that my greatest struggle, I always say, was with my own personality. Because I really have the wrong soul for Bollywood. Now, I was this jaldi and this fully I got my first facial after I came to Bollywood. I did my threading for the first time after I came to Bollywood. So I had to kind of really learn to play the glamour thingy and the grooming and all that. But it was, I learned, you learn in the game, and I don't take it very seriously, which is why if you ever see my airport looks, they're all disasters, because I look like I've just dragged myself out of bed, which I have, and I'm desperately trying to make the flight in any sort of I mean, this airport look is just like the worst thing in the world, because I'm like, are you kidding me? Like just catching the flight is my biggest achievement. Abhi blow dry bhi karane hain, baal uske pehle makeup bhi karana hai, like what? But so yeah, the paparazzi culture is really something that I don't think I've gotten fully used to. And again, all my paparazzi candid photos stand testimony to what an utter failure I have been with dealing with paparazzi culture. But it's all right. I mean, I think that.
So somebody who gave us Neel Batte Sanata was one of the Veerays, gave us Anarkali of Ara, and has done Flesh and Raspberry. Which is that one character closest to you? I'm sure one character must have been the most close that you felt for her.
Anarkali. Of all the films that you have said, Anarkali, but also Bindiya from Ranjana.
Ranjana, of course.
Yeah. These are the two characters that, like, emotionally I got really involved in. Very, very much. And I mean, so much so that actually it took me a year to realize that I have internalized this anger that Anarkali has so much that it's affecting like me as a person, and it's just making me aggressive in this weird way. And then I actually realized something very interesting, that we as actors work very hard. We have a process to get into a character. We don't do any work to get out of a character.
Yeah.
You know?
True, which is so true. I think it's high time now you did a comedy. बहुत intense हो गए ना?
Yeah. My next release actually is a very light, fun flick called Bhag Beanie Bhag on Netflix. So I'm looking forward to that now. So it's been a very strangely productive lockdown for me. I'm going to have 3 releases.
True. And lovely chatting with you as always. All the very best. Always. Getting excellent reviews for Flesh. And well, hopefully a season 2.
Yes, absolutely. Where I will have better success with the gun.
Anyways, you do keep shooting darts at your trolls. Yeah, you're pretty good with your Nishana on Twitter. Thank you so much. Thanks. Okay, bye. Take care. Bye.